Hi everyone, my name is Gabriel and this is the Hour of the Raven, your channel for everything Ravenloft, RPG, Dungeons and Dragons, and horror. Today, we will learn about the habits and life of the Vistani, the mysterious nomadic people that roams the lands of the mist. Are you ready? So snuggle up in the Vado ride as it goes down along countless roads and enjoy the company and hospitality of these enigmatic travelers. Hour of the Raven. The Vistani are a mysterious and nomadic people that wanders through the lands of the mists. This ethnic group of humans are composed of people of complex and ancient customs, united by ties of blood and culture, without being bound to any known kingdom or land. The inspiration for the Vistani is directly drawn from the culture of the Romani people, mistakenly called gypsies in many places of the real world. This representation of the Romani culture in the world of Dungeons and Dragons does not intend to faithfully reproduce the complex culture of the Romani people, but a rather stereotypical view of the culture, as seen in many horror tropes in books and movies. Originally created for the 1983 Ravenloft adventure, the Vistanis became an essential part of the Ravenloft campaign setting. In addition to being the mysterious people able to navigate the mists, it is implied in some supplements that the Vistani would even be able to navigate out of the Ravenloft misty prison. They can also be found in the Gothic Earth setting, an alternative supplement derived from the Ravenloft setting, which brings a scenario of Gothic and supernatural version of the real world in the late 19th century. In the 4th edition of Dungeons and Dragons, the Vistani are portrayed as a nomadic group able to embrace other races in their culture and lifestyle. In the Ravenloft world, however, the Vistani have always remained a mysterious and enigmatic human race, only sharing their gifts and culture with those who share the Vistani blood. The Vistani have a complexion tone that ranges from olive and light-tanned to a dark brown. Their hair is always dark, more often black than brown, and their eyes are usually black, but it is also possible to find some Vistani with brown and green eyes. The Vistani are a nomadic people and speak various dialects as a result of incorporation of several languages in their vocabulary. All Vistani tribes know the Paterna, a glossary of words used only by the Vistani, whose meaning depends not only on word diction but also on correct intonation and context. The Vistani still maintain a language of symbols known as Tralax. These symbols represent a very objective form of language, marking places with information relevant to other traveling caravans passing through the place. It's not uncommon for the Vistani to use even other signs to leave important warnings to those initiated in their mysteries. These signs are called pattern and can be subtle as two branches crossed over or a pile of small stones, being hardly noticed by passersby or people not initiated in their hidden meanings. Their supernatural gifts and insular lifestyle make the Vistani have a complex relationships with the native people of other realms in Ravenloft. As constant travelers and nomads, they play an important role in trading with various peoples and nations, but they are also seen as cheaters and dangerous, especially by those who fear their mystical gifts and powerful curses. Despite the aura of mystery and the accompanying prejudice, the Vistani are usually cheerful and even receptive when dealing with other people. It's not uncommon for some non-Vistani people to decide to travel with them through the mists, adopting their free lifestyle. Some Vistani usually accept, albeit temporarily, the company of people attracted to their culture. Sometimes, vagabonds and fugitives take advantage of their gifts of traveling through the mists to travel the world. And sometimes, children and young people flee of the oppression of their tedious lives to follow a caravan, giving the Vistani the unfair fame of child abductors. However, to be a Vistani, one must be born a Vistani. A person who is only partially descended from the Vistani blood is not accepted as a legitimate member of the tribe. This trait is part of the insular nature, but also a way to protect their roots and secrets in a world that often sees them as a threat under the cloak of prejudice. To the Vistani, all who do not have the Vistani blood are called Giorgio. When a Giorgio becomes fond of the Vistani people and demonstrates his loyalty by doing an act in favor of the tribe, he may be offered to participate in a blood ritual. Those who agree to participate in this ritual cease to be Giorgios in the eyes of the Vistani and becomes a Giogoto, meaning in a loose translation, friend or enlightenment, but without the Vistani blood. The blood ritual is performed by the Vistani who bestowed the honor on the Giogoto. He uses a knife to open a cut in the palm of his left hand and in the palm of the Giogoto. They then shake their bloody hands and tie them with a handkerchief that has been purified by moonlight and bathed in herbs. After that, the Vistani says, "Hand tied, blood united. I cannot repay you for your actions, but I may call you brother." The two ritual participants enter in a kind of trance as the rest of the tribe chants and blood oozes from their arms. When the ritual ends, after a few minutes, the cuts are miraculously healed, but a purple scar marks the participants' hands, identifying the Giogoto before all Vistani tribes as an ally. The Vistani are organized into tasks, tribes, and caravans. The caravans are made up of individuals from the same tribe who are joined by ties of friendship and blood. Each caravan is led by a male figure called captain and a female figure called Rauni. These leaders may be united by marriage, but it is not uncommon for them to be related by other family ties, such as siblings or cousins. The captain is the master of the caravan and is responsible for maintaining the group's equipment, supplies, bardos, and animals, selecting campsites and delegating ordinary tasks to the tribe members. The captain also has an important role of negotiation with the Giorgios, although he can delegate this function to other members of his caravan. The Rauni is the highest authority within the camp. It is the Rauni who presides over discussions and her word is final. Although it is the captain who presides over day-to-day matters, the Rauni have the final say on decisions. The Vistani society is essentially matriarchal, which may be derived from the fact that only women develop the mystical gift of divination. When a caravan becomes too numerous, becoming difficult to sustain or drawing too much attention of the Giorgios, they split and the Rauni chooses a new captain and Rauni to lead this new caravan. As nomadic people, the Vistani do not stay in the same place for more than a few weeks and do not survive on food crops. Their knowledge of the nature is vast, and wherever they go, they collect fruits, roots, mushrooms, and other typical foods of the region. Although not in the habit of hunting, some caravans drive herds and use fishing nets in rivers. Vistani cooking is usually performed in the large campfire. Sometimes, meat is roasted on skewers, but usually Vistani cuisine involves soups and stews, and is marked by strong and aromatic seasonings. Despite living and traveling together, the Vistani are people who value their privacy. Marital union for a Vistani is only considered between members of the same tribe. Since members of the caravan are often linked by family ties, Vistani love relationships often develop on the infrequent occasions when caravans of the same tribe gather for an event. When a love relationship occurs, the marriage is first considered by the leaders of both families, who discuss the viability of the union and property rights. Marriage only occurs with the consent of both the family leaders and the couple. A ceremony is then scheduled, and both caravans gather in a grove where a ritual of union is performed, and a festivity takes place. Almost without exception, the man then joins the bride's caravan, and his property is passed to her. When a Vistani faces death of natural causes, he rarely does it in his bed. The Vistani believe that dying in their camp can contaminate their people with death. Usually, the last act of a dying Vistani is to get up and walk away from the caravan. If he cannot walk, he is helped by his family and friends and taken to the woods, where he is left alone without any gesture of farewell. They believe that no one should see the last breath of a Vistani, otherwise it will embarrass the spirit that can return to torment the one who observed his death. When a Vistani leaves the tribe to die alone, the Raoni lights a candle in the window of his wagon. When this candle goes out, it is a sign that the Vistani has finally perished, and the whole caravan comes together in weeping and wailing. After a long period of mourning, as the night progresses, they begin a dark and rhythmic chant. They believe that the spirit of the deceased visits the camp at night. All the deceased personal belongings are burned in a bonfire so that his soul may leave the material world. The Vistani philosophy of life preaches harmony with the natural world. They don't believe in concepts of good and evil and chaos and order, but understand that the world has many facets, and they must learn to live in harmony with these many realities. The very word Giorgio, which defines all non-Vistani people, loosely translates as unnatural, as opposed to the word Vistani. Thus, although in any large group of people they harbor a large number of tendencies, the Vistani people tend to be neutral. The nomadic aspect of the Vistani life is sacred. A Vistani who leaves his tribe to settle in one place is called a morto, a fate worse than death itself, and he is no longer considered a Vistani by his peers. When a dispute arises between the members of a caravan, any Vistani can claim the Vishnad, which translates as the dark blade. When a Vishnad is called, the caravan Raoni summons the accused to her presence, and he must lay his open palm before the Raoni. Using an obsidian dagger, she puts the tip of the blade over his palm and began to interrogate those involved, being able to detect lies. After hearing the accused, the Raoni enters in a trance, and in this state determines his judgment. Her word on this subject is final and sacred, and is not disputed by the Vistani. After the Raoni pronouncement, any differences are resolved, and apparently no grudges are held by those involved. If an accused person is found not guilty, a feast should be made in his honor, and the wrong accused must make a toast for peace and forgiveness. In the rare event in which the Raoni can't proclaim the final resolution, and both sides of the dispute have a righteous claim, the contestants are allowed to play a feather blade duel. The challengers are stripped of any armor and protection, and fight with a feather in their hands, soaked in paralyzing poison. After a battle with many small stabs, the one who is first paralyzed by the poison is considered the loser of the dispute. When a Raoni applies punishment, it is unappealable, and can range from a simple reprimand to public flogging, banishment, and even death. When a Vistani is exiled, the Raoni throws the obsidian dagger far away from the camp, and the condemned is ordered to search for the dagger and bring it back. Since only the Raoni is permitted by tradition to touch the obsidian dagger, the exile can never return to the caravan, and they become a darkling, a cursed Vistani. Many of those darklings carry the obsidian dagger, a symbol of their defiance and evil ways. As the night approaches, the caravan comes to a halt. The captain seems to have chosen a campsite. The Raoni confirms his decision. The cloak of night will soon fall to the earth, but the Vistani intend to confront it with a burning bonfire, music and dance. Soon they will start the sacred Duel, to share their ancient stories and legends around the country. Do you still want to find out more about the enigmatic Vistani? So subscribe to this channel and join us in the dialogue to listen to what its ancient legends have to say about its origins and secrets.